The cafeteria was loud with chatter and laughter, but in one corner, silence fell like a heavy curtain. All eyes turned toward a fragile teenage girl with thick glasses, her hands trembling on the edge of her lunch tray. Her wheelchair lay tipped over beside her, its metal frame twisted, broken, smashed. Scattered around her were bits of pasta, splatters of sauce, and pieces of her dignity, thrown carelessly across the floor. Behind her stood 3 boys, their sneers barely hiding the nervous laughter bubbling in their throats, unsure whether they'd gone too far, or just far enough to entertain the room. No one moved. No one helped. And Emma just sat there, tears streaking down her face, not from pain, but from the shame of being broken again. Just then, the cafeteria doors slammed open. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up for what's right, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Your support helps us bring more stories of courage, healing, and hope to light. Emma was born with spina bifida. From the time she was old enough to remember, her legs never held her like they should. She spent most of her childhood in hospitals, staring at ceilings and learning to navigate a world that was never built for her. Her parents tried their best, always there with soft words and smiles, but the real fire in her life came from her older brother, Jacob. Jacob, who used to push her up and down the hallway in her first tiny chair like it was a chariot. Jacob, who showed her how to laugh when kids called her names. Jacob, who enlisted in the Marines at 18 because he wanted to protect others the way he protected her. But Jacob had been gone for 2 years now. Deployed. Letters came occasionally, sometimes with sand still clinging to the envelopes, and his calls were rare but full of hope. Emma counted the days until he'd be home again. But she never let anyone at school know about him. She didn't want pity, and she certainly didn't want her brother's military image being used as fuel for more jokes. She kept her head down, rolled through the halls quietly, and ate lunch alone. Until today. The attack wasn't random. It was slow, deliberate. First, they took her tray and swapped her applesauce with mustard. Then they kicked one of her wheels when she tried to move. But the final blow, tipping her chair and smashing it under the weight of 2 of them, was cruel beyond measure. As Emma lay there, stunned, the metal groaning under her, a piercing silence fell over the cafeteria. Someone finally gasped. A few phones were pulled out, fingers hovering over the record button, but no one stepped in. Until that door opened. Jacob wasn't supposed to be home until December. But a surprise leave, something about a training rotation and unused days, brought him back early. He hadn't told Emma. He wanted to see her face when he showed up at school, maybe surprise her by waiting at the car or walking in during lunch like he used to. What he saw instead stopped him cold. His little sister, his brave, bright, beautiful Emma, crumpled on the floor with a shattered wheelchair and broken spirit, while a crowd of kids sat frozen in horror or indifference. Jacob didn't speak. He didn't need to. His boots thundered across the cafeteria tiles as he crossed the room in seconds. The 3 boys didn't even have time to react. With military precision, he lifted Emma first, cradling her gently in his arms. He didn't look at the others yet. He only looked at her, brushing her hair back, his jaw tight, eyes filled with fury and pain. He whispered something only she heard, and her tiny sob turned into a breathy, stunned gasp of relief. Then, he stood. Still holding Emma, Jacob turned to face the room. His eyes locked on the bullies. And for a moment, the room felt like it had stopped spinning. This wasn't just a big brother. This was a soldier, a protector, a storm in human form. Without raising his voice, he asked one question. Who? They pointed at each other, suddenly cowards. One tried to explain it was just a joke, but Jacob's eyes said everything. That day changed everything. Not just for Emma. Not just for the boys who were suspended, their parents called in for urgent conferences, or the principal who tried to make up for years of neglect. It changed the school. Jacob didn't press charges, though he could have, but instead gave a speech in the gym the next day. He didn't talk about violence or revenge. He talked about Emma. About invisible battles. About strength that comes not from standing tall, but from rising again and again, even if it's from a wheelchair. Emma got a new chair the next day, not just any chair, but one customized by Jacob himself, using connections from a military rehab unit. Her new wheels sparkled with designs etched into the side, roses and lightning bolts, her two favorite symbols. More importantly, she never sat alone again. One of the girls who had filmed the incident posted the video with a heartfelt caption, "This is what real love looks like. Protect your people." The video went viral. Soon, people from all over the world were messaging Emma with love, support, and stories of their own. She even got a letter from a girl in Sweden who had been too scared to go to school in her wheelchair, but after watching Emma, she rolled through those school doors with pride. As for Jacob, he returned to duty, but not before leaving Emma with self-defense classes, a new sense of courage, and a promise, "Next time you get knocked down, I want the floor to regret touching you." Emma began speaking at schools. She stood not with legs, but with heart, talking about inclusion, bullying, resilience. The pain never fully went away, but it became something else. A fire she used to light the way for others. And though she still missed Jacob with every beat of her heart when he was gone, she no longer felt alone. The world had seen her now. The world knew her name. And so did those boys. Because sometimes, justice doesn't come in a courtroom, it walks in wearing combat boots and carrying love like a shield. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who needs to remember the power of love and courage. It helps us keep telling these real, emotional stories. Speech balloon special request: comment below with one word that describes Emma's strength. We'd love to hear how this story moved you.